I have this lingering question of why me? Why now? And maybe you have the same question. The laugh is about, if I do something with this recording, besides forget about it in my voice memos. And the answer, the answer to the first part, which is so insipid, is just, there's, when else is there? When else is there but now? And at the same time, it seems relevant because it's now what 7:47 in the morning, and I'm going on about 2 hours sleep. I've been up since 5. I've driven 2 hours, and I've been in a Home Depot. I'm a little cracked out. I had some really strong coffee this morning, and I caught myself just about to censor this fart, which was brewing. And I think, as stupid as it is, I'm sitting in the parking lot of the King's Mall. As stupid as this answer is, it's also kind of relevant. And the answer is, I'm just a normal guy. And that means probably means even less to me than it does to you. In the sense that I don't have much sense of myself as a guy in particular. And that's often surprising to people, seemingly, because I do a lot of guy things. I'm at the Home Depot at 6:30 in the morning buying armored cable, 12-3 armored cable, and some handy boxes, because I'm going to wire up some outlets. Which is, stereotypical guy stuff. So, on the one hand, I am very, very ordinary. And I'm not particularly charismatic. And I think these qualities are actually really useful and necessary. Um, and maybe useful to you, to anyone who's on the quest. Because the gap between the average Joe or Jill and a really clear teacher can often seem really big, intimidatingly large. Talking about the truth is stupidly difficult for a long time for most people. It takes a long, it's taken, I'll speak for me, right? It's taken my brain a long time to catch up. And I am slow. I am on the slow path, people. And the slow path for me, well, here's what it looks like, right? So my I don't know, we'll call it my first taste, right? My first real powerful spiritual experience where I had some level of consciousness of what was happening. Yeah, so we'll say my mind also had some awareness of what was happening. That was, would have taken place probably in 2007. So it's solid 16 years ago. Yeah. And seemingly a lot had to happen for some clarity and stability, and heartfulness to really well, this doesn't sound very average Joe, to blossom here, right? Yeah, I'm a I can be a slow, stubborn SOB. And while that awakening, if you will, shook a lot loose, um, it took me, well, we'll say it took a good 11 or 12 years, maybe 11 years of life to get me to open on a heart level. And a good deal more to happen to move sort of through and beyond that. So I'm a slow study, and I got a goodly amount of karma, if you will. Lots of things to work through, which is part of what I bring to the table. Everyone's got to go through it. Sooner or later. Everybody has to pass through all dimensions of awakening, awakeness. It's got to spread. It's gonna spread throughout the system. And so anyone with a degree of stability is going to be able to talk about it, because they've passed through it. I can talk about it with with a good deal of experience behind my words, because I got real bogged down in it, and I've had a lot to move through, right? Whereas some people just kind of glide over it. And so if you're if you're like me and you just had a lot of problems living in general, let's list some of my problems. My problems include, alcoholism, depression, anxiety, all kinds of social fears, anxieties, being pretty shit at relationships, codependency, eating disorder, what else? I can be addicted to anything, right? Computers, phones, Yeah, relationships. So I've done a good deal of running from myself and a good deal of running from the truth. I managed to implant a lot of really negative beliefs about myself in my head along the way, as well as all sorts of, grandiose and the whole other side of that cookie as well. All kinds of beautiful flights of fanciful thinking. And I guess what I'm saying is I am imperfectly perfect. and and probably coming down more on the imperfect side of the equation. And so if you can relate to that, you might find this helpful. If you, oh, here come the waterworks. If you can relate to growing up with two seemingly opposed, parallel realities unfolding. One is, being a child, very much in this world, having all the good childish very human desires and wants to be liked, to be a part of, to be recognized, to be a kid, to be all that being a kid entails, which, frankly, some of it is totally stupid. And some of it's just glorious, right? Like running and chasing, in my case, a soccer ball or a baseball or a basketball, or like these were it was glorious just to be a kid and to inhabit a body and to be hanging out with friends and doing cool stuff. And where that got tricky was often for me around my peers, right? Kids can also be really shitty to each other. And and the shittiness wasn't so much even the problem, right? Like, I could get hurt. I could shed some tears, get angry, get, revengeful, whatever. All the good in the world kid stuff. What didn't really make sense to me, what I couldn't quite understand was parallel with that was there was something in me that just wanted to forgive. And could hold and see all the conditions that could make a kid act angry or mean or bullying or lashing out. Yeah, there was this this bigness of soul, which just didn't reconcile easily with me wanting to be angry at somebody who had, pushed my buttons or quite literally pushed me or, somehow there wasn't quite space in me to have both these realities exist very peacefully next to each other. And similarly, I could, one part of me, here, we'll get into parts. Yeah. So one part of me, we'll call it my soul, could forgive. But my human, my child, um, didn't fucking want to. And it was almost like my soul didn't know how to give it room to do that, to let myself be really down dirty in the muck of what it is to be human. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about, is how these things, how this soul and this humanness learn to jive and get along. Because if you want to be free, which is the same as saying, if I want to be free, it's all got to be online. I don't do that escape into the clouds spirituality anymore. It's got to be feet on the pavement. Heart present. So stick around if you want. Together, we will listen and journey. and maybe shed some old ideas.